Welcome, Carm Capriato, the Service Aftermarkets Podcast Pioneer, with the gold standard of aftermarket business podcasts. Join me for Aftermarket Insights as we advance the aftermarket. And as always, know that you'll learn just one thing. Find us on your favorite podcast listening app and remarkableresults.biz or on my YouTube channel. Hey everybody, Carm Capriato, Remarkable Results Radio, another Town Hall Academy. We're at the ASTA Expo in Raleigh, ASTA.expo.com. If you're going to come next year, we sure would appreciate it. It's a great event, and we're loving it. Rumor has it it's moving to a new, exciting, even bigger location next year. Thank you so much to NAPA Tracks for having us here and sponsoring us this year. Appreciate that. And we get a little word out for our great sponsors. Hey, did you know that NAPA Tracks has on-site training plus 6-day-a-week support? Well, it all starts when a local representative meets with you to learn about your business and how you run it. After all, it's your shop, so it's your choice. Let us prove to you that Trax is the single best shop management system in the business. Find NAPA Tracks on the web at napatracks.com. And you know, shop owners, at the end of the day, relish in the satisfaction of seeing your business thrive, your team motivated, and your customers leaving with a smile. Talk to Coach Chris Cotton at AutoFix Auto Shop Coaching, autoshopcoaching.com. And ready to optimize with today's class? Boy, listen to an episode we did with David Boys here. Great program. Roll out a training plan for your automotive shop. In just 5 minutes daily, boost knowledge, retention, and improve team performance. Start seeing results today. Join your peers at today'sclass.com. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and thanks. Hey, welcome back, everyone. We're here to talk about the invisible paycheck, cost of living, what we're paying technicians in our industry. And I'm going to introduce the ladies first. Is that okay, Chris?
Not a problem.
Joelle Pollak is here. Both of Joelle and Lisa are from Promotive. Joelle Pollak and Lisa Coyle. And you guys, I've known you for a long time, and you've done a lot of great things in our industry, but now are a premier recruiter in the industry. And I just love what you're doing, and thank you for your sponsorship of Hunt's show. And Chris Cloutier is here, and he is our representative as a shop owner at Golden Rule Auto Care in Dallas, Texas. Hey, Chris.
Yes. Hey, Carm.
Also, Autoflow, autoflow.com. Great piece of software, DVI stuff, CRM stuff.
You got it.
Wow, cool. And thank you for your sponsorship of Craig O'Neill's show.
It's a great show. You should listen.
It is. Just launched, so we're excited about that. I've been on this burning kick lately, everyone, about we're actually trying to put together a show with Matt Fonslow, because Matt called and he says, listen, technicians' wages, everybody's just got a number, and they're throwing this number out. And it's a 6-figure number, and it doesn't matter if you're in Bodunk, Kentucky, backdoor in Springville, New York, as an example, right? Small little town, 10,000 people.
Go Bills.
Thank you, Joelle. By the way, 3-0. And as of this recording.
Yes.
Or if you're in a big city, that seems to be the number. And to stop and ask ourselves, what's the cost of living in the market that we are? There's so many factors in finding out what the affordability rate of what you can pay a diagnostician, a mechanical specialist, technology specialist in your business. And there's a million factors, not the number, not because you can or can't afford it, but what's the number? And if you can't afford the number that's right, what are you going to do about it if you're going to sustain your business? That number that's right, there's so many factors as a shop owner that have to come to get to that point, from sales and margin and costs and everything that it takes to run a great business. Well, I moderated this panel yesterday, and one of them says, I'm getting ready to hire a top dog diagnostician. And this was his number, and they threw out the number to the room. And the shop owner says, I'm not making that much. And I said, but I hope you are in profit sharing of your own. I mean, you may, whatever your check may say, but if you're running a successful business and you're making 20% plus, net, you're probably doing okay if you have $1.5 million business. But we grew up as an industry saying, this is what we pay them. I'm taking home 80, we're going to pay them 50. I can't find anybody. I can't keep anybody. And I think we have to become, as an industry, more ingrained and more detailed on how the numbers work and how we pay people. And the reason that Lisa and Joelle are here, because you're interviewing shop owners, you're interviewing candidates, you're finding matches culturally and capability wise, and you're hearing what they're asking you. And Chris, you're a number, you appreciate the profit, you get it, you know it. And that's what I want to talk about. Besides that, the invisible paycheck. And I've seen in the past, you could just go to Google and type in invisible paycheck and look at these different forms. And Chris sent me his, and I have it right here. Salary, bonuses, benefits, time off, medical, dental, basic life, AD&D, simple IRA, Social Security, Medicare, purchase parts, ASE bonuses, vacation, holidays, sick leave. Oh, that's right, boss.
Are you looking for techs?
Yeah, we're always looking for techs. So that's the thing, Carm. We started this a couple of years ago, and it's that unseen benefit that you have to convince this technician that's looking at this dollar amount and saying, oh, I'm going to get paid 110 or I'm going to get paid 80. Well, the guy down the road or the girl down the road is probably saying the same thing. I'm going to pay you 80 or 100. So what differentiates you, and how do you retain your technicians as well as get these new ones in the door? And it really is about the benefits package, but you have to be able to explain that. I think a lot of shops have these benefits. They just don't do a good job of explaining it to their people or to their people, right? To their technicians. So I just, on vacation alone and time off alone, well, think about that. If you give somebody every holiday off and you give them 2 weeks, well, do they realize that you're not able to capitalize on their time, that you're not making any money off of them, right? So that production that you have is not happening. So it's a benefit to them, and it's kind of a detractor from you, but it certainly is money. It's a huge benefit, right? And do they see that those dollars and those amounts, right? So that sheet I sent you, very eye-opening, because the one I sent you, the guy's making 110 on paper, but then when you add the benefits, it's 140,000.
140 grand.
And that guy's like, well, I had no idea. And I'm like, yeah, and you know what? Your simple IRA is now funded to $30,000. Doesn't that feel good?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's like working for the government.
It's like working for the government.
Do you call it full burden? That's what I've always called it, full burden. Like, what is the total?
I wouldn't say full burden. I just say benefits and pay, right? Because burden, I don't want them to think
not
that
to
I'm a burden.
Not
Yeah.
necessarily them, but like as like an employer, like the
it's
term that's always been thrown around.
It's the burden you carry for
Sure.
that individual.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
When you're hearing from recruits, from talent, you're placing ads, you're working with them, are you able to work with the owner to get them to pay what the going rate is? And if you are and they're floored by it, are you telling them, are you asking them if they have a coach? Are you asking them if they're in a networking group? Because a lot of the help that owners get so that they can hire this good talent comes from going, I'm not saying outside, but yes, outside into the experts need to guide them. And you may, or the expert may say, it may take a year to get you where you need to get in order to hire this talent. But guess what? Based on the size of your business, you shouldn't have any problem hiring this talent. You just don't have the money to do it. If you're going to pay me a basic wage and I'm going to have housing and food, I don't know. My wife said she was going to boycott buying a quart of milk the other day because it was $4.50. And I says, don't skimp on that. We like milk. Yep. Okay. There's other things. There's vacation. There's fun toys. There's clothing. There's, oh my God, college. There's so many other things that we say, you see, his rent's this. In the back of your mind, you're coming up with what you believe is the guy can live on $65,000, but probably not. And that, I think, is the reason that we want to have this discussion for the industry. No matter what you're doing as you're listening to this, saying, oh, that's me. Okay, then keep listening, because what we want to try to do is to help you get to the point where if the business needs more money, I get that. But so do your people, so that they don't have to live paycheck to paycheck. And somebody came to me and says, Carm, I gave somebody a raise. They bought another case of beer that week. That wasn't the right use of the money, which means he said I had to be more in tune with what my people are going to use their new income or their raise for. And that is, I need to know what their goals are and what they want to accomplish in life. Bring this conversation to light for us. Who wants to start?
Wow, there's a lot of points in my head. I mean, from benefits to pay to coaching your people and whatnot. A lot of talking here at the show, clearly. But yeah, I think the first thing to touch on one point that you mentioned is, at Promotive, when we're talking with shops, and one of the things you asked is, how do we get them there and pay? And we're continuing to learn different markets, learn different shops, work with coaching groups, and again, learning every single day on all of the points you just made. The biggest thing with us is we want to make sure that we are working with shops that are paying their people fairly. And again, what is fairly? And that's where we help guide them, and I don't want to say coach them, but make recommendations based on what we've learned, based on who we're currently working with. Because again, we're not a coaching group, but a partnership is when you can help in areas where you can. If a shop tells me up front that they want a rock star unicorn tech that can turn a bunch of hours, diagnose anything, and they're going to pay them $60,000, me, I'm a straight shooter. You're not going to get that. No matter where you're located in the country, in the world, like if you want a true rock star, you can't pay them $60,000, period. Now, there's a lot that you can unfold with what is a true rock star. I mean,
no, I get that, but let's go back to the invisible paycheck thing. Okay, you say I'm going to pay him 60. Does that individual know that you're doing a whole bunch of other really good things?
Talked to a shop owner the other day. 4-day work week.
There's value in that.
Benefits, 401k, a lot of similar to Chris, right? And that's where it's important that when our recruiters are talking to candidates, we are selling each individual shop for the values that they bring, with benefits, with pay, PTO, whatever it may be. It's beyond, like Chris said, and Lisa and I were talking about it yesterday, money gets people to move or in the door, but it's all the rest of the stuff that retains them, right? So that's definitely a big piece. It's not just about the money, because if it's about the money, they're going to look for another $5 down the road in 6 months. They're going to look for another $10 in a year.
See, and there it is. That could be the title of this episode. It's not just about the money. Think about that. That's the theme I think we're talking about. It's not just about the money. It sure is. That's going to be what do you think? 60, 70% of the decision? It's almost like it's not what I'm earning, it's what I'm being paid per hour.
Well, I think the money gets you, like she said, in the door, right? I mean, it has to be there. I think this time of thinking that you're going to pay a tech 60, 70, 80K it's past. I think the job market definitely has heated back up, and I am seeing a lot more people come through my door again and putting in resumes. So that's changed. In the last 2 years, I didn't have anybody coming through my door. Now I have technicians now applying and putting those resumes in. But none of them are going to be cheap. And I know that. But like you said, if I'm running my business right and my margins are right, my parts margins are right, I'm working with that coaching company, I know my top line's all right. Even though we've seen some slowdown, I can pay that tech what he's worth. And that tech is going to generate income. But then what am I going to do to keep that tech here? And it's those unseen benefits. I also want to talk about this, throw this out there. And I appreciate this. It's a Ted Lasso. It's when he first comes in, I said, soccer. Yeah. Me and Lisa, we're soccer people. So we know Ted Lasso, right? It was a great little episode. A lot of very
I've never watched it. I apologize.
Chunks of wisdom.
I know you were going to jump me. Okay.
One of the things he does is they go into the shower room and it's dripping. And they're like, oh, it's been broken like that for a long time. And he fixes the shower head. And next time they come in, the shower's blasting. And they're like, this is amazing. So as shop owners, we ignore a lot of these small things that move the needle a whole lot, right? And I thought that was a great example. Yeah, fixing a shower head, that's nothing. That's stupid. It's the hose reel that the little chucks popped off 7 times and we can't afford a new hose reel. Yeah, you can. Go pay the $20, $30, $60 to go get the hose reel, fix it to where your guy's not pissed off. But we let these small things go often, and those small things have to be addressed.
Yeah, they build. So Hunt did his annual survey. I have it in front of me. Thank you to Promotive for sponsoring the Hunt Demer show. But the Parmelis Associates Benchmark 2024, there's a strengths and a weaknesses. The top 3 strengths from the top shops and the top 3 weaknesses. Number 1, top 3 strengths, work environment and culture. You're talking about that. You're talking about leadership and teamwork and quality of work and efficiency. Wow. And if an individual who works for you values that, I call it stickiness. The top 3 weaknesses, efficiency and productivity, staffing and human resources, organization and processes. I mean, think of that whole HR thing. You guys are in that business, and you see these weak companies that are looking to hire people. And when they get there, sometimes you hire a toxic person because you don't know how not to. And sometimes you keep them there way too long. But the beauty, I think, of a recruiting company is I don't know how to hire. I'm sorry, I'm a wrench. Yep. And now I'm an owner. I don't get that part. And then I have to be an HR specialist, and I have to do all this other stuff. And the government sends me letters every 3 weeks to tell me I got to do something. And I put it in the round file because I don't care. But now I got to hire somebody. And how do I do that? Well, I place an ad. And you guys love this, the fog the mirror thing, right? That's why you do what you do. You're trying to prevent that from hiring a body that has a tool cabinet. But how do I grow my business and keep this individual? And how do I meet these wages that are out there? And why are the wages so high today? Because we're not graduating a lot of good people. We're not doing apprentice programs. We're not building our talent. We're not, I ranted about this yesterday. It's right there on the end of our nose, and some of us aren't doing anything about it. Okay, I'll shut up, let you guys talk.
I think, too, you just made a point that made me think that when you get somebody in, and it goes with leadership and retaining, but communication. So when a tech starts with a shop, and again, we're all human and people are wired differently and have different motivations, and some put up with things longer than others. Having a plan from day one with your employees. Okay, what do you making them feel valued and all that, but what is the onboarding plan? What is step 1? How do they get to step 4? What is that process? And communicating? Because a lot of times what we continue to see is technician service advisor starts in a shop, techs butting heads with the lead tech, shop owners not present, perceptions, reality, whatever the case may be. We're kind of the middleman or middlewoman, and we encourage candidate and owner to talk and communicate, but that's hard for a lot of people. As a shop owner, I guess a piece of advice is take initiative and be aware and listen to your employees and approach them before they wheel their tool cart out and go to the next shop. And again, it's not always on the tech, always on the shop, situational, but it's like that is the most critical piece when you get a tech of any level in there or a service advisor employee. Have a plan, communicate it, and check in. Don't wait till a 90-day review to check in and talk about just money.
Hey, let's face it. Your shop management system is the single most important tool in your shop, period. NAPA Trax has made selecting the right shop management system easy by offering the industry's best, most comprehensive SMS. Now, it all starts when a local representative meets with you to learn about your business and how you need to run it. After all, it's your shop, so it's your choice, and having local representation is a huge plus. Customizing Trax to your business, whether you're a one-person shop or a large multi-bay or multi-location company, a representative consults with you to help optimize your shop's workflow, efficiency, and profitability. Trax always has the flexibility to do business how you need to do it, which means it can also grow as your business grows. And unlike the other guys, we'll be there for you after installation with the best training and support in the business. Yes, a learning management system tailored to each role in your company. Simply put, Trax was designed and built for shop owners just like you. Visit us on the web at NAPATRAX, that's NAPATRACS.com. In the world of auto repair, every shop has its unique rhythm and challenges. At AutoFix Auto Shop Coaching, they understand that one size does not fit all. That's why we offer personalized business coaching, tailoring our advice to meet your shop's specific needs. Transform your operations with strategies and tools to streamline your workflow, reduce waste, and skyrocket productivity. And when it comes to the numbers, we've got you covered. Our financial management guidance helps you master your finances from cash flow to profit margins, ensuring your revenue grows stronger. Every day, AutoFix Auto Shop Coaching, empowering your shop to achieve more. Visit us at autoshopcoaching.com. Transform your team with today's class, where automotive training is easy, quick, and fun. Just 5 minutes a day on our app can eliminate hours of looking up forgotten information later. It's perfect for technicians, advisors, and managers alike. Keep critical knowledge fresh and top of mind, ensuring your team operates at peak efficiency. Today's class is impactful, accessible from anywhere, and a bit of fun too. And we're not talking about after-hours pizza either. For training that gets results, turn to todaysclass.com.
You know what just hit me?
Something.
It did. I'm sitting next to Lisa, and she saw this huge light go on. Did you see it hovering over my head?
I thought you were going to pass me a note. You were so excited.
Yeah. Oof. All right, here it is. There it is. So why doesn't Promotive become HR consultants?
You
Welcome.
Was I in your strategic plan?
Have
Okay.
you met Joelle? I'm just kidding.
Think about it, Chris. We've got all kinds of great coaches in our industry, but where are the pure You can go to an HR company, you can go out and let them do a lot of stuff for you, but an HR consultant to come in, walk you through what you need to do to be the leader that you need to be in the people environment. Yeah. Again, maybe it's an HR/leader consultant.
Yeah. No, we've talked with people about this, especially at downtime at trade shows. Some of the coaching groups, they have their booths, and we really just throw out a bunch of ideas, and fractional HR has come up. So being the arm or the extension of a shop for that, you can do a lot of things with HR, but right now it's we have to get the recruiting side and learn down so we could be good at the HR side. And there's a lot to unpack in recruiting technicians. It's a lot different than recruiting salespeople or engineers, it's a unique business for sure. It's been fun. I'm learning a lot. And I think we're on to something for sure. But I love your idea.
Okay.
No?
Yeah, I'll send you a bill.
Okay, perfect.
No.
You helped get Promotive going with our ideas. We sat here 2 years ago. Was it 2 years at ASTA?
Yeah.
A at the E at the time. I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
We were picking.
it was Apex when you came up and asked me.
Yeah,
You
Apex.
told me
Yeah,
a few
Apex.
things. You need to keep this quiet, Carm, but.
Just had a bunch of ideas.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
you were rolling around, and
just-
it's looking cool, and
Yep.
it's amazing to see where
Yeah.
you guys have come.
Yeah.
Honest to God, I'm listening to her and I'm saying, I just had this outer body thought for you guys to be HR consultants. I was really grasping with that. Not only for you to leave, you were with NAPA for years.
Yep.
You were Ms. Auto Care. Oh, that's kind of funny. I'm sorry. But the HR consultant, now that you've proven so well that you guys got this really strong company, HR consultant. So Chris, I think about that. And I think about coming from the software world where you came from to write Autoflow and then build a great company and then buy the shop. You're with your brother on that, am I right?
Yeah. Yep. 2 shops. Yeah.
That are where do you get to learn? Where do you get to learn to be the leader that knows how to pull the team together?
Carm, we have 5 different disciplines every shop owner has to pay attention to. Marketing, HR is one of those big gaping holes, right? It's finances. We need to know finances. We need to know marketing. We need to know, but operations, right? It's funny on your list. So a lot of it is fixed with the owner, but the problem is the owner going to take the time to learn some of these disciplines or find the answers or ask the right questions, right? And I go back to the simple things, not just the benefit sheet. How many shops are probably listening to that actually have a benefit sheet that show their people at the end of the year and actually take the time to calculate what these unseen benefits are? And I'm going to tell you, not a lot, right? I hate asking for everybody to raise their hand in the room, but that's one of the things I've asked multiple times when I've shown this is how many people are doing this? And you get people begrudgingly doing it. Oh, yeah, I did it 2 years ago, 3 years ago, because it takes time, effort, and energy. And when you've got all these other things, car count to get in, making sure that car gets done in a certain amount of time, HR does tend to fall by the wayside. So I love the idea of HR consultants. One more place to help for sure that I think a lot of shop owners are weak on, even though without people, we don't have a business. We have a business if you're the only one fixing cars and you're the only one at the counter. But if you can't recruit people, if you can't train people, if you can't retain people, you really don't have a business, right? You bought a job.
It'd be really neat to do a monthly check-in, not from recruitment, but from HR, if you will, consultant perspective. And while you're doing that, you're also finding out where the potential recruitment may be so you can maybe stay ahead of that. Yeah. And then for whatever the stipend would be, whatever the fee would be per month, then you'd have maybe unfeathered access or some kind of access to say, I've got a problem. You may immediately say, listen, you got to call your attorney. I'm not going to be an attorney, but I am going to be able to help you on how to build your leadership team. I mean, there's so many, God, HR's tough, Chris.
Employee handbooks, right? How
Yeah.
many shops actually have employee handbooks? How many shops actually have employee handbooks that are legal, right?
Right.
That aren't. There's a lot of thing that needs to go in an employee handbook that addresses a lot of things. And I know I've gone to several different HR companies and sent them the handbook, and every time they send it back with a lot of red lines. And they say, "Woo, Chris, this is not. You can't say this. You can't do this. You can't." So there's a lot of help that needs there for sure.
In our independent group in Buffalo, two guys were talking, and one guy says, "Would you send me your employee handbook?" And he goes, "Sure, I will." I went up to the guy who was about ready to receive it, and I looked at him and I said, "If you duplicate this verbatim, you're making a big mistake." And I said, "It was kind of him to send it to you, but this is not your book." And that's the thing that makes me afraid that we're just copying and pasting stuff.
We do.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're time consuming. I've made 3 or 4 of them like over the years. They are a lot of work to do those. Like, it's not just the laws, it's you are trying to put your culture stuff in there and everything too.
By the way, let me go over this other invisible paycheck. And I swear I have this as a download on my website. Not only regular and bonus pay, paid time off. And I'm kind of repeating what we talked about earlier because I think it brings value. This is a little different than yours, Chris. So there's total direct compensation. Then there's Social Security, Medicare, workers' comp that we're paying so that if you can't work, that we have a stake in that as a company. Unemployment insurance tax that we have to pay. Again, this could be state-driven, federal, I don't know, disability pay. We pay for disability everywhere. So that's the total indirect. And then indirect compensation, employer-paid benefits. If you have a retirement plan and whatever portion of that you may be contributing, group insurance, sometimes we get group life, health, paid family leave. And then others, and then there's the total benefit contribution. You add all of that up, and somebody just, as we were showing you earlier, goes from 110 to 140. And I don't think we realize the reason that I believe invisible paychecks have to be done, because it's not about the face value of the check, but that's what we look at, what we can spend and how we have to live. But we take for granted all the other stuff that comes from the employer. And I know that, and again, why I'm saying this, it would be really cool if you're coming to work for me and I say, "I can't wait to fill this out for you. Let me show you what this whole thing looks." It's a blank sheet of paper of the invisible paycheck. And I says, "You see that top line up there? That's what we're talking about. But if we come back for a second interview, I just may fill the rest of this out, and I want you to see what the total comp is going to be coming to work for us."
I was thinking about this too. That's missing from mine that I want to add is training. We pay for training. We require training. Every year we've talked about this. We're one of the shops that require a certain amount of training. We pay for it. We pay for ASC certifications. We pay them bonuses for the ASC, but we pay for training. We pay for books. We pay for classes. We pay for... That's a huge, also unseen benefit of coming to work for Golden Rule Auto Care, because we're going to invest in you, invest in your time, invest in you to be a better technician or a better service writer for your job, right? And this, then to me, training is all about changing you want a good culture? You want a culture of change? It's training. Training gets you thinking forward, always moving. And this is one of those other benefits that I think that we give to our employees that we don't talk a lot about. Now, some technicians and service writers might go, "Oh, I don't need training." Absolutely you do, right? I mean, that's one of the things. If you're going to come work for me, I value it. I go to training. I do X number of training a year. So you're going to do training too as part of my organization. And it is absolutely a benefit that should be seen or noted on my sheet that I have not.
If training was on here as a line item, what a great opportunity to go over a sheet like this and to stop there and say, "Let me tell you how many hours we're going to require this year, but I'm going to pay for it."
Yep.
And if someone realizes that, say, for example, it's $2,000 of training that we're going to pay for you. I know a shop owner, Bill Hill, Medina, Ohio, been to his place. He's got a wall, a training wall. The hours, the classes per employee, not per tech, entire company. If they go to a night school and take an Excel class, they list it and they get credit for those hours that they put in, because they want training to be, as you said, a large part of the culture of their business. They pay for it, they record it, and how about this? The bonus at the end of the year for training is they total up the number of hours that you went, say you did 80, half of that is 40 times your base rate. And that's the Christmas bonus. It's developed under the training culture of the place. It's great. Tracy and I went there. We says, hey, let me see your I went this and I did this and I did this. What's wrong with any of this? Not a thing if you want to be the top dog in your market. You want to be the magnet for people. How many people have a folder that they could open up and find resumes of people who, I want to come and work here, just don't forget about me? Does that happen? Not enough.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize what they have until they don't have it or until they need it. That's the other thing that I'd say when we're talking to candidates. You know, some of them, a tech that is at Tesla now, or Rivian, he was one of those. And he's like, I have Google type health benefits. Like, I can't walk away from these to go to an independent shop and not have certain treatments. And I was trying to read between the lines. I think he was going through like some IVF or something that with his wife that the benefits just simply wouldn't cover on an independent, a stereotypical independent plan, right? Like, so he appreciates that now because he has it. I don't think someone like him 5-10 years ago would have even thought twice about that. Like, so I think it really is something that people have to have, like, they get it and then get it taken away later to really understand.
Lisa
it.
brings up a great point, Chris. If we're going to have to compete with that as an industry, we better start being sure we're making enough money to be able to. And I'm not saying that we would have benefits like Google, Rivian, Tesla, but they realize they got to have that.
We have to, Carm. I mean, we talk about this all the time. I'll tell you what, the last couple of years with all the inflation, and it's been tough. I mean, the parts, everybody who's using Matrix right now, your Matrix are a little out of flux because your lower end part is now moved up into the higher portions of your Matrix,
Yes,
which bring
it has.
lower margins, right? And you're like, hold on, what happened? So our labor rates should have shot up as high as the parts, and they haven't.
Yeah.
Right. So we've definitely seen about the same top line revenue, but the profit is a little bit less because we kind of got caught with like, okay, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Everybody else is raising prices. We're going to raise prices, but we're going to be hesitant about it. But you're right. In order for us to be healthy businesses and to pay people, right, we need to be able to charge what we're worth, right? And charge what. I had a bad review. I told, you and Tracy, I expect quarterly bad reviews now. If I don't get a quarterly bad review, something's wrong. Right? Especially in this day and age, right? And one just said dealership prices, but not dealership service. And I'm like, really interesting. I'm pretty sure my service and my concierge and my messaging system and all the benefits that you get, which I can list, are well beyond the last time that I was at a dealership. But in their perception is their reality, so that's okay. I'm still going to charge the dealership prices. Absolutely. I have to in order to have these technicians that I can pay, that are all ASC certified, that are highly qualified. By the way, our turnover is very little right at my shop. I don't have turnover, right? I'm not saying I haven't lost people, I have, but it's usually us firing them. It's not them leaving for other opportunities because we treat them very well. This at loaner cars, we have loaner cars, but then we let them drive these cars when the people aren't taking them out for loan. And we're okay with that, right? It's one of the other unseen perks and benefits of working for Golden Rule Auto Care. Another thing I want to point out is like bathrooms. Carm, this is one thing. I've been to other shops. A technician bathroom, this is the Ted Lasso, shower thing. Technician bathrooms should be clean. And it's up to the owner to make sure that the tech bathroom is clean. I've gone in shops where the customer bathroom is clean, and I go in the tech bathroom, I'm like, dude, I'm not even going to pee in here. I'm like, are you serious? Like, this is perception that you care about your customers, but then you don't care about your tech? Oh, no, they're dirty people. Really? I'm pretty sure that most techs I know want to use the bathroom in peace in a nice environment, but it's one of those things that we tend to overlook. The bathroom, the break room for the technicians, we tend to overlook it because we think they're these dirty people. And it's like, no, they're not. They're like, do you like eating in an environment where it's clean? Yeah, I do too. They do too. Right. So we make some perceived, I think, thoughts about our technicians and our people that are completely misguided. And I think that we do. It's small things, in my opinion, Carm, that add up to these big things that move and keep our people, which is what we have to do, right? We've got to train them up, but then we want to keep them once we've trained them up.
You hear a lot about that when you're interviewing people.
Bathrooms?
Yeah, the cleanliness, the environment. Somebody described culture to me once as the weather. And I've used it on the show an awful lot. In fact, I talked about it in yesterday's meeting that I facilitated. And I said, and so I talked about it at one of our Buffalo meetings. And I'm saying, yeah, I explained that it would be like, oh, Bay 3's got a thunderstorm. Nowhere else. It's sunny everywhere else. What could that be? Why? Okay. A lot of it has to do with culture. This guy's sitting there next to me and he stopped me in mid-stride. He goes, Carm, it happened to me once. I was working at a dealership. We had a really, really terrible tornado going off in one of our bays. And finally, owners let this toxic employee go. And the entire shop became sunny. And that described culture.
Yeah.
In its simplest ways, so many owners struggle with developing good culture. And let's talk about toilets and culture. Okay, I'm sorry, because that's where I'm going with this.
Now, I'm not going to go show my technician and say, look at the clean toilet I have. It's these things that are day in and day out. Once they're there, that bleeds into their subconscious mind, right? You can't get away from, you can't say, hey, I really care about my people, and then have these junky break rooms and bathrooms.
Yeah.
Because it's that whole, your mind's thinking one thing, but you're doing the other, that cognitive bias, that cognitive dissonance that we experience sometimes. Your techs know it too. So I'm not saying I go, hey, look at our bathrooms, they're really clean, our tech bathrooms are really clean. But in order to keep people, you want to make sure that you're, once again, treating them really well and say, hey, that bathroom needs to be just as clean as the customer bathroom.
How about this? Clean from the inside out and the outside in.
Yes,
There you go.
and janitorial supplies. Let's put on this list.
Oh, perfect. The invisible,
Three-ply toilet paper.
Which matters.
not one. Listen, the
At least two. At least
the hotel has one. My finger goes right through it.
And this is why we have not ventured into HR consulting yet.
I'm having too much fun with this. It's kind of thinking about, I get in front of a crowd and I say, if you really want to take your customer experience to a new level, just tell people that you're getting ready to hire a CXO in the company and look them in the eye, look around the room, and they're saying, oh, Jesus, we got somebody new to report to. What is this all about? And we say, well, that's the client experience officer. Keep shaking your head, look around the room. Keep pausing and pausing and pausing and let them let it sink in. This is going to be hard. Are you kidding me? I can't believe he's got the money to do that. I asked for a raise. I didn't get one. Where's this? He said, well, I can't really afford a CXO, but I want to hire one. So I need every one of you to step up and help us with our client experience. And here's the plan. Here's the job description that you're all now going to take on. With that thought, I need to hire a chief clean officer, a CCO, okay? And if we say, listen, but I really can't bring on that janitor, but I've just come up with a set of rules for each bathroom, for our lunchroom, and these are the rules. We're all going to pitch in and we're going to all do our part. I'll make sure the cleaning supplies are there. I'll make sure the brushes are there. I'll make sure the towels are there. But we have to respect each other's environment, because what's going on back there, as clean as we make our shop, or that we want our shop to be for all the right reasons, this has to work, everyone. Because the outside looking in will create a perception. And you on the inside looking out, we don't need you to go back and say, thank God I walked away from that cesspool each and every night at 5 o'clock. And I'm going home to a clean house. And I can't believe I tolerate that. You know the influence that home has on work? It's huge. Why do you keep working in there? Why do you wait and go to the bathroom when you come home, hun?
I think that ties back to what I was saying earlier. Whether you're an employee or anywhere in the role, or if that's like the one thing that is making you unhappy as an employee, address it in the right way to the owner or the manager. And because a lot of times they might leave over the bathroom instead of just having a conversation over something silly to be able to fix it. And also, Chris keeps saying, right, it's the little things. It's the basic, everything we do day in and day out, at home, at work. It's the basic blocking and tackling of life. Leave things better than how you found it. Treat others with respect. Work hard. It is literally the basic blocking and tackling of life. It's the little things. And when you're not doing those little things, that's when the hurricane comes through.
Or they start adding up to a big thing,
Yeah.
right? Because the little things that are unaddressed become very big things over time. It's the two techs that are sitting beside each other and they're having a problem because one toolbox is in the way of the other. As a shop owner, you have an opportunity to take them aside or take them together and say, hey, we're grown men here. Let's talk about this, or ignore it and say, it's not that big of a deal, because that thing will fester and it will boil. And sooner or later, that tech's going to be like, I'm out of here because I hate that guy. And it starts from these little things. And if we don't stay in front of them and we don't, I love the communication thing. I do it all the time. Hey, let's talk. We're grown men. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Chris wants to talk again. Yeah, because if you're not going to do it, I'm going to facilitate this conversation.
Yeah.
We're going to have it because I'm not going to let it fester and boil.
All right, let's bring this to a conclusion, and I'm going to try to summarize it with what we just talked about just a few minutes ago. And I wrote down a new line on the invisible paycheck. And this new line, all by itself, Chris, stands alone, says the best place to work and the cleanest with the best culture. That's the line. Write this down, everyone, okay? And over in the column where the dollars are, the word priceless is there. I want someone to see how hard we work on all those other things that matter. Final words.
Oh my goodness. How do we wrap all this up? No, I think, I mean, I feel like I just get like the final communicate, do the basics in life, communicate. Chris, I mean, from the sheet that you have, and don't wait until they get their Christmas bonus. Don't wait until it's their 90-day review to see if they're working out or not. I mean, again, you don't need to shove a piece of paper and, you know, all the things you're doing on a day-to-day basis, but having those one-on-ones with your employees on a monthly basis or whatever feels right to continue showing that added value to retain them.
Yeah.
So it's just communicating and showing the value of what they provide. Because as Lisa said, you don't know what you got till it's gone. Again, if a year goes by, they forget that you're buying them uniforms, you're buying them boots, you've got 2-ply toilet paper, whatever it may be.
Yeah, we do 2-ply
So,
here.
Yeah.
I like
And
that
3-ply
line.
for the big guy over there.
I like that line. We do 2-ply here.
I'm sorry to our audience. I'm sorry. We've gone some great places, but this was fun. Lisa, last word. Miss 2-ply.
Yeah. I think it's our responsibility as leaders, owners, to show everybody the invisible paychecks, at least on an annual basis, because business owners do a lot of things that people really don't realize. And I'll use 401k as the example. If you have a match on a 401k and you're putting thousands of dollars a year into someone's 401k, and that's kind of like out of sight, out of mind, especially for the younger people, right? Like they don't think about their 401k. They're not looking at it every month or every quarter. You have to show this amount that is being contributed to their 401k that, by the way, compounds with, you know, the stock market and grows for them too. I think we have to show that type of stuff. I guarantee, and we talked to a lot of candidates, that 90% of candidates don't know how much their employer is contributing towards their health benefit premiums, for example. Or even honestly, like what they're contributing towards their health benefit premiums too. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
So I think we have to expose it in a way that isn't condescending or like, this is what I'm doing for you. But it really just needs to be out there where they understand it.
I'm so happy I'm doing this for you. You're part of the
Yeah.
reason in helping us retain clients, do good work, make a profit. We're happy to give it back because we value you. That's the quick
Yeah.
story here. It's an eye to you.
Yeah.
And the invisible paycheck shows team. Chris, final words.
Every month at my employee meeting, one of the things I ask both shops is, do you need anything? What do you need? Do you need equipment? Do we need to fix something? So it goes back to, I love what Joelle said, and that's communication.
Yeah.
We have to, right? We can't turn a blind eye to our people or to the things that they need, because if we turn a blind eye, then eventually they're going to walk out the door. So I like the clean from inside out and outside in, right? We need to make sure not only are we showing the benefits, these unseen benefits, which are great, but making sure we're taking care of those small things so they don't add up to blistering boils in our shop. And too many times I see it where somebody will turn a blind eye to it and they're like, it's not a big deal. I'm like, not right now. But those small things, it's the butterfly effect. That
Yeah.
butterfly
Oh,
over there is
God,
creating
yeah.
a tsunami.
Yeah.
You know, over in Asia, it's creating a tsunami right now. It's probably just caused the hurricane that came through Florida, right?
Yeah.
The butterfly effect. So don't let that add up. Make sure we are communicating these, but make sure we're asking those questions. I love the book. Great leaders ask great questions, and we need to continuously ask our people great questions. What do you need to do your job, and how can I help you do your job? And then making sure they're informed. When they do, we do not beat them up over the benefits, but absolutely say, hey, as part of this extra bonus of you working for me, here's all the other things that I'm really happy to give you, but I want you to make you aware of, right? That we're contributing all this to your betterment of you and your family.
Yeah. Good stuff. A lot of great gold nuggets that came out of this thing. Appreciate that. Joelle, Pollak, Lisa Coyle from Promotive, Chris Cloutier from Golden Rule Auto Care and Autoflow. Thanks for being here. I had a blast. You actually got me thinking pretty heavy on this thing. Love this.
Thank you, Carm.
All right.
Thanks, Carm.
Thanks.
Thanks, Carm.
Go Bills.